All right, welcome back to the weekly walk and talk for your weekly dose of, or is it daily these days, of doom and gloom. If you haven't come for the doom and gloom, then don't worry, the BBC or CNN has got you covered. So just switch over to those channels now then. Wow, it is, we're on a hike today. This is a long hike actually, but we're at, that behind me there is the Calf of Man on the Isle of Man. Really beautiful. I was going to actually swim out to it last weekend, and I don't know if this is true, I'm going to have to look it up, but this guy said, oh, you're not allowed to swim out to it, private whatever, natural scientific interest. I think he was talking nonsense, so I'm going to do it this weekend, I think. Now, I have got some great stories for you today. Goodness me. And don't worry, I know people always love to comment on my hair, and you know, everyone's got something to say. Don't worry about my hair. It's windy. We are outdoors. Don't even worry about it. Just focus on the content. You know, one other thing I was going to say as well was last week, I was going to say, yes, we hit 350,000 subscribers, but now we're almost at 359,000 or 360. So we'll save the celebrations for 400K. Now, the news headlines today were insane. By the way, if you're new to the channel, the reason I'm looking down is because we've got giant rocks. Well, that isn't a giant rock. This is more of a giant rock here. I've got to watch my footing as we walk around so I don't trip over and end up down there somewhere. Let me start with this first headline then. The Mirror, return to the dark ages. And in the Mail, blackout deal sparks a storm. Good play on words there. So the Daily Mail leads with then, families will be offered money to help avert power cuts, but says the deal relies on having a smart meter. We know what that means. If you've got a smart meter in your house, good luck to you when they want to start doing these rationings and cut-offs. These possible cut-offs, we know what that means. It means definite. Whenever you see the word possible, just replace that with the word definite and you'll be a lot closer to the truth. And if you're wondering why my eyes are watering, the wind is blowing a gale right now. I've got a good wind blocker on. What else do they say? Households will be encouraged to sign up to a demand flexibility service that reward them for using off-peak electricity and could be paid more than £10 a day for making measures such as running appliances at night. Got some mushrooms. Anyone gets desperate? Yeah, the thing that made me laugh about this was the guy who suggested it. He's obviously completely clueless or doesn't do his own laundry or whatever. Because I don't know if you've ever run a washing machine at night. Okay, let me just give context here for everyone else watching who's not British. British people tend to have smaller houses than, say, Americans or Canadians, things like that. A lot of houses are terraced houses. They were rebuilt after the war, etc., etc. What you call row houses. So a lot of British households have their washing machine in the kitchen. They don't have separate laundry rooms unless it's a more expensive house or more modern house. So a lot of people have them in their kitchen. A lot of people live in apartments, they have them in the kitchen. Can you imagine 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 a.m., the washing machine goes into its spin cycle? Oh my goodness, you'd wake up thinking there was a hurricane or an earthquake, or what's going on, am I being attacked? So yeah, all of these ideas about running certain appliances like your washing machine overnight, yeah, I don't know about that. I think I'll pass on that one. I think it's much better to run it during the day when you're at work, and that way you get home and it's all finished. But actually, guess what time they are saying a lot of these cut-offs are going to be? Between 4 and 7 p.m. Isn't that peak time? Yes, I think it is. So during peak time when people get home, either home from school, home from work, this is when they want to cut off the electricity. Now, at the moment, they're saying it's just some areas, but you know what that means. It's going to be a lot more areas. The next story that really made me laugh around energy this week was it said UK citizens are really putting it to Putin by reducing their energy consumption. It's their own way of protesting and saying, up yours, Putin. Oh my gosh, that one really made me laugh. Yeah, because we're only getting, before we were only getting 4% of our energy from Russia. So apparently all of these stuff now, pubs using candles, businesses using candles, turn off the lights, all this is from Russia, even though only 4% of the natural gas came from Russia. Yeah, I'm sure we're all giving Putin the finger here, and he's crying himself to sleep at night over the UK cutting out 4% of their energy. Well, actually, it's not 4% really, is it? Because they want to reduce it by 30%, it's either 30% or 35% over the next 2 or 3 years anyway. But now they're putting it, oh gosh, it's wind. Now they're pulling this forward a lot more. Okay, I think we're gonna have to go up the hill a bit here because this wind, goodness me. Okay, here's another good one for you then. Pubs across the UK are turning back to candles again, just like the good old days. Yeah, the good old days. No electricity, malnutrition, starvation, disease, lack of food, outside toilets. Yeah, sign me up for that, please. Yeah, I'll take that. And of course, the Nord Stream investigation is now underway with, I think it's Denmark and Sweden leading the charge on this, and Russia have been told that they are not allowed to have any part in it whatsoever. When I heard that, it reminded me of this story I heard years ago of this murder that took place. So someone was murdered, and the detective who was in charge of the case couldn't solve the case. Later on, it found out that the reason why it was never solved was because the detective in charge of the case was the murderer. Oh boy, it reminds me of the West doing these investigations right now into the pipeline. Because you know what will happen, even if they did find out that it was a Western country that did it, or a combo of some Western countries, they're not going to say that. They're still going to just, spin whatever story they want. We're not even hearing much about it anyway now, despite how crazy this act of terrorism was. Oh, and by the way, really funny one. I was reading some comments this week and people said, oh, what happened to the walk and talk? You were sat in your car. Oh, a little bit of rain. You were laughing at those guys who cried off, ooh, ooh, because of a bit of rain, and they went home, and then you didn't go out for your walk and talk. Yeah, here's why, genius. What am I recording this on? This is called a camera. What is this? This is a microphone. These things are not waterproof. So regardless of the weather, I can't just walk around in a storm, and it was a storm, and get this stuff drenched. So that's why, yeah, and that's why my hair was all sticking up. Everyone was laughing about that. It's because I went out into the storm and my hair, what, you think I'm gonna go home, take a shower, blow dry my hair just so I can record this video? No, no one cares what I look like. This is just macro and geopolitics and finance and economics and stuff like that. No one really cares what I look like. And just before we go back into a few more stories, you know what I want to do today actually? I've told you about the private community a lot of times, and people always say, oh yeah, I want to join, I don't know how to join and things like that. Oh, I don't know if I'll like it. So here's what I thought I would do today. If you want to do it for a trial for a week, you can go look at the stuff, watch the videos, look at my spreadsheet, do whatever you want to do. I will let you trial it for 7 days. So what I mean by this is, pay the subscription for the month, but within 7 days, if you don't like the private community, I'll put the link below, just message me within those 7 days and I will refund your money. But it only applies to the first 3 tiers, not tier 4 and 5, where it's access, to me with a group coaching and stuff like that. So if you want to trial it for 7 days, it's called patreon.com/Neil McCoy-Ward. I'll put the link in the description. If you want to trial that, you're more than welcome. If you don't like it, just send me a PM on Patreon and I will refund you and cancel your account. Okay, next story then. Let's keep walking. Right, I've got some real crazy ones here. But first, I've got to start with this I've been meaning to cover this story for 3 or 4 weeks now, and that is what's happening in Lebanon with the banks. So they've bailed everyone in, basically. Well, in fact, I don't think it's bailing. They've basically frozen everyone's access to their money, to their bank accounts. So you've got people, some of them with hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in their account, and they can't actually go and access their account. So people have been robbing their own money out of the bank in Lebanon. And it's pretty sad. Some of the stories are really sad. Like a man he tried to sell his kidney because he couldn't get his money out. This woman who was successful, she had $20,000 in her account, and she was successful in robbing the bank, and she got $13,000 cash so that she could pay for her sister's cancer treatment. And it was really sad, actually. So the sister was in the car crying, no hair at all, obviously been having chemo. And I did watch that, and I don't think anyone could see that and side with the bank, anyone with a heart. And you're going to see a lot more of this. Guarantee you more people are going to be robbing banks to actually get their own cash out of the bank. I think we're going to see this a lot more as we go forward. Oh, I can't even read these headlines. The wind is so strong. Let me get behind this bush. Hold on. Okay, I know this is crazy, but here we go. Since 2019, Lebanese banks gradually imposed draconian controls on deposits, effectively locking millions of customers out of their foreign currency savings. Every time you want to withdraw money, it would be at a rate much lower than the market value. For example, if you want to withdraw $700, they give you $200. So that's a de facto haircut. Yeah, and is that really any surprise that this is what's going on now? And you're going to see a lot more of this. We've already seen banks failing in Henan province. We saw it in 2008. We saw Northern Rock fail in the UK. We saw Cyprus and Greece and loads of places bailing people's money. It amazes me how many people still think that we on this channel are crazy for talking about this stuff and thinking this is going to happen. It is going to happen. It's just a matter of time until the whole financial system collapses. We almost saw it last week in the UK. It's only because the Bank of England stepped in and did another big print, £65 billion, which is huge for such a small country, that the whole of the UK economy didn't collapse. Okay, another headline then this week, and this is how you know it's becoming complete nonsense now when the media put this stuff out. From auto-romantic to zygosexual, the baffling A to Z of modern sexuality. No, it's not modern. No one has ever heard of these terms. They're just making stuff up as they go along now and trying to indoctrinate people into this woke ideology. And people are like, oh, I never heard of this. Have you heard of this? And idiots like me even talk about it on a video, sharing it even more. But I'm sharing it because it's so crazy. And I want people to be aware of all this absolute nonsense that they're talking about here. By the way, for those of you who've never seen big white fluffy clouds, this is what they look like behind me. Some of you just live in areas where it's constant planes blocking out the sun, shall we say. So this is what normal skies look like. They are nice, white, fluffy clouds most of the year around. All right, so let me tell you what these terms mean. Zygosexual is having or wanting more sexual partners with your current romantic and or sexual partner. Pronounce zygosexual. See, they're even telling you how to pronounce it. And they even have their own flag called the official zygosexual flag. And it's actually classed as a hate crime to damage this flag in any way, and it carries a prison sentence. Okay, what does it mean to be autosexual? This is similar to that sologamy we talked about before. So this is people who experience a personal relationship with themselves as being romantic. People who are autosexual feel intense sexual attraction to themselves. And it says here, you shouldn't be afraid by this. This is completely natural. Sorry, that's natural. Okay. I think we have entered the twilight zone yet again this week. And UK councils taking another leg downwards as they start removing the words mum and dad from their website. So they have the search algorithm, and anytime they find the word mum or dad, it replaces it with birthing partner. Yes, this is how woke councils are going now. And actually, I got a warning to be careful about what I say going forward, because now the laws are starting to change and it's classed as hate speech. If you talk about the stuff that I talk about, like what I just said here, and criticizing these things, it's being classed now as hate speech, and it can carry a prison sentence. Just within the last couple of days, actually, a mum of 4 was arrested at her home. Now, I don't know the full details of it, so I'm not going to get into the legality of it, but apparently she said something over Twitter about a lady's child, used the wrong pronouns and all this. Again, you don't know what's true these days with all the media stuff, but it said she used the wrong pronouns. I doubt that. I think she was probably offensive towards, you know, the parent or kid or whatever. But, you know, at the end of the day, we do still have, although we don't, freedom of speech. We can share our opinions, and if we think that someone is doing something that's wrong or immoral, we have the freedom to share that opinion, or at least we used to have, but now it's being classed as hate speech, and you get cancelled, you lose your job, you lose your income, or you get arrested. It's obviously to terrorize people and to set a precedent. And then of course it goes into the media, so then people go, oh, I'm scared, I better stop doing that, I better stop talking out against these things. So it's all just a massive psyop, all of this stuff. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed the walk and talk today. This is actually, I think, probably the windiest one I've ever done. But it is a lovely walk, a lovely hike. And there again behind is the calf of man there. All right, so remember about the 7-day trial if you want to do that on the private community, tiers 1, 2, and 3, 7 days. Don't message me on the 8th day, all right? Message me within the 7 days. And also remember about my finance and stock market course. It is on sale right now as a launch price, but it won't be forever. All right, take care. God bless you guys. God bless your families. I will see you very soon.